cancel the ambulance. It's all right. I made it up here. Actually, maybe not. We have to wait till I get off stage. We'll see if I can make it, you know. Just a thought I had. How bad does Vinny's divorce have to be that he's got to relocate his kids to Red Deer to improve his life? Also, side note, I was at JR's house. I also ate those cookies. Yeah, I didn't feel like it was that bad. Both of them were like, fuck, I can't move. I was like, now you guys know how it feels, you assholes. Give me some more cookies. I'm selling those at the next comedy show. Actually, you know, I know you guys are kind of disappointed because we don't have the meth addict from last show. You know, I'm just trying to replace them a little bit. So I'll be selling some 8-balls after the show if you guys are interested. Don't worry if you're worried about it. You know, none of you will walk any worse than me. So I got you covered. Kind of new. I've been doing comedy for a while. I came today from Edmonton, and as you guys can guess, that is a long walk. I'm just kidding, obviously I don't walk, I jogged. I don't have time to kill, I got places to be, I got things to do, you know. I've been traveling all over the world. I got some chances to, I got to go to Europe over the pandemic, and I didn't cause the pandemic, okay? I just went to Europe to escape the craziness of Canada. So I went to Europe and I learned, you know, I went to Amsterdam where my family is from. Found out that for every person in Amsterdam, they have 2.5 bikes. So statistically, I'm letting the country down. Also, how come for every person they have 2.5 bikes? Who's the asshole cutting all the bikes in half? You know what I mean? Just for the welder torch, just cut them all in half. You know. That and I stayed with a friend of mine in Ireland, and I stayed with him for a couple weeks, and he was like, "Hey man, while you stayed, do you mind helping me out with a few pounds?" He's like, 40 pounds maybe? I was like, "Bro, does it even look like I can lift 20? So that's when I got kicked out of the country and I came back here. As I mentioned, been doing a lot of traveling, and it's hard, you know, doing stand-up comedy. I've taken my fair share of falls on stage, but I realized recently I had to get more comfortable shoes. I had to get new braces so I could get comfortable shoes, and realized that the men's shoes that I was wearing don't have enough support for me, so I had to settle for wearing women's shoes. And don't get me wrong, I look great in heels, but it was tough to adjust to at first, you know. Plus, I was staring down at these shoes and I saw pink insoles, and one shoe in English is memory foam, and the other shoe says memoire touche. And I think it's kind of harsh for my shoes to start calling me a douchebag at 6:30 in the morning. Especially when I finish putting them on at like 8:30. And then my boss goes, "You're fired." I was like, "I'm here. I'm fucking inspirational." Do any of you guys have cool jobs? No? You guys don't have jobs? Anyway, I've been struggling to find work during the pandemic, and I got a lot of, I've been leaving my resumes everywhere, so I got a lot of weird phone calls. Got a lot of scam phone calls during the pandemic. Anybody else? No, you guys don't even have phones here? No internet, no phones in Penhold, no nothing. I checked the website. What's going on in Penhold? They're like, nothing. A by-election, I guess. Be careful, it's going to be hot. There's a fair like an hour away. By the way, I heard I was at the Westerner yesterday, and I found out, just volunteering, and I found out, how do you know you're at a fair in Red Deer? You hear a guy over the intercom say, "Hey, we might need a cop because someone just pissed on that car over there." He said, "Welcome to Westerner Days in Red Deer. I'm gonna go fucking, I can't find the toilet, I'm just gonna piss on a car." You know, it's a lot more environmentally friendly because we don't have to flush. You know what I mean? Plus, my dad said he needed his car cleaned. Come on. It's not my fault. No, it's been good. I've been looking for work though. You know, I've been going all over the place trying to find work. You know, I went into like a kitchen and I asked the staff. I was like, you know, you got any jobs? And he was like, well, how are you with knives? And I was like, not too bad. I can juggle like 3 of them. I'm working on it, maybe 4 if I can do it right. Yeah, and then I found out I wanted to go. I applied at Walmart. I don't know if you guys ever been to Walmart. They have a really tough pre-screening process because obviously you have to be able to breathe. And they asked me like the pre-screening interview was, hey man, you know, what if somebody were to be in front of the till and they like drop a jar of salsa and then you got to clean that up, you know, and there's a bunch of angry customers behind them. Like, what are you gonna do? I said, I don't know, like, invite the rest of the staff, grab some guacamole and chips. I don't know how high your insurance is, but I'm not cleaning that up very fast, you know. I'd probably ask any of the customers in line if they sell Tupperware or Avon and turn it into a business opportunity for everyone involved, right? So clearly I got the second part of the interview and she was like, you know, I feel like I was doing pretty good, answered all the questions. I felt like I had this in the bag, right? Last question she goes, hey, so how are you with ladders? And, I don't know if you guys can tell by looking at me, obviously I'm not great with ladders. I'm amazing. In fact, I'm the Central Alberta 2020 Snakes and Ladders champion, all right? So before you judge me, you should read my resume. Yeah. But I went into another place. They went for an interview, and they, you know, they're skeptical, of course, because they said, do you know how to work a microwave? And I said, well, I graduated university. I think I know how to work a microwave. Probably could build the damn microwave if it was from IKEA. But yeah, no, but it's been good. You know, it's hard to find work though, and I don't know if that comes from like what I grew up with. You know what I mean? Like my parents weren't exactly the ideal, you know, examples of what you should strive to be. You know, they came to Canada and became sheep farmers. You know, it's like, but you know, I don't know if you guys can tell by looking at me, I'm actually, you know, I'm pretty active. I love sports, and obviously because I'm disabled, I love bowling. That's not the joke, guys. You guys are ableist pricks. No, I love bowling, and people tell me bowling is not a real sport because I changed my name to QG Erection on the scoreboard. Or like they say it's not a real sport because you're not even like sweating, you're not breaking a sweat, you're not putting in any effort. And it's like, it's not very extreme, it's not a real sport unless you break a sweat. It's like, okay, but why? Tell me then why does the guy at the front desk always ask me if I want to use a ramp when I play? That sounds like a pretty extreme sport to me. You know? Plus, I don't know, like, and then my dad will come up to me, or like he'll always say things like, hey, you know, when you go out bowling with your friends, you know, you should just take the ramp. It's not offensive, but we just want you to be part of the game like everybody else. And they go, Dad, that's not why it's that hard. I'm like, that's not why it sucks. I said, it's not hard to, you know, bowl with my friends. You work at the bowling alley, man. I'm kidding, man. He doesn't work at the bowling alley. He's unemployed. Tonight I'm making the big bucks, you know what I mean? My dad's got to eat, so somebody please donate. By the way, you know, I was talking a little bit about getting scammed earlier, and you know, all these scam phone calls I've been getting. I realized that I was doing these scam phone calls. They're kind of crazy because, you know, I got a call from my bank during COVID, and the guy was like, hey, we have this new deal, like, it's in case you become disabled. It's like basically if you were to get injured, you would get a payout. And I said, okay, sir, where are you from? And he goes, Toronto. And I go, okay, I think it's pronounced Tirana, but since you don't know me and I don't know you, how disabled do I have to be? And then he tells me if I sign up now, there's a 1 month free, like you basically don't have to pay for the first month. So what I'm telling you guys is like I got a week left, and if one of you guys could just accidentally back up and hit one of my ankles on the way out of the parking lot tonight, I get a $100,000 claim. We split it 50-50. You get a down payment on a house, and I pay off my student loans. We're making dreams come true tonight, baby! I noticed, by the way, I see some people here, like this guy over here in the back, some of you guys over here. You seem pretty quiet. You're like, oh, just like laying back, lounging. You're like, you seem like you're just like, you're ready to, you're ready to do some yoga or something. You're about to fall asleep. Like, do you guys want to do some yoga right now? Is that what's going to wake you up? Yeah? I'm here, you know what I mean? Let's do some yoga, you know? You got your Richard Simmons headband, sir? You make sure you don't mess up your hair there. But, all right, if you guys want to do some yoga with me, I'll get started. All right. My doctor told me I have to work out. I thought you guys were going to participate with me.
I was, you
You guys might like, is this guy, is this guy telling a joke or is he having a baby right now? Actually, I am having a baby. Me and my girlfriend, we're having a baby. I'm pretty excited to announce that. It's pretty, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Actually, the babysitter's coming over next week because we got some noisy ass cats and they can't, we gotta go to the Mexican restaurant across the street and our cats are too noisy. So we just, I can't afford to actually go to Mexico. You know, I gotta go to the Mexican restaurant across the street. I tried to fit in this bitty suitcase, but you know what I mean? Didn't quite work. You know what, guys? You guys, at this point, you're probably looking at me. You're like, oh man, you know that kid should have drank some more milk. I don't. But here's the thing, guys. I don't like milk. I don't know if you guys. I don't believe anything the government tells you, but I don't think the government hasn't been telling you guys about milk. Guys, it's 2 or 3% milk and 98% lies. I think I've just been force-fed lies in the form of lactose for the first 28 years of my life. That's all it is, you know? And you know what I mean? I had to go to Europe so I had to get myself medically cleared to go on this trip. And I found out I'm lactose intolerant, which sucks because I love cereal. So now I have to smoke all my shreddies, you know what I mean? So I get high on life. But I love my milk, you know what I mean? But I had to go to the doctor and he had to get me medically cleared to fly. And he's like, you know, you gotta, he's like, eat an apple, drink some milk, stay away from me, you're weird. I was like, okay, Dad. He doesn't have his license anymore, so he's not my doctor. Clearly, I came out, he was part of creating me, and that went wrong somewhere. So, anyway, so I go and I talk to the doctor, and he goes, hey, you know, he says, you gotta drink some milk. But you can't bring liquids on a plane nowadays, and it's really weird. Anyways, to explain to airport security why I have 8 ounces of powdered milk up my ass. But I had to pay for the trip to Amsterdam somehow. So, if you guys are interested, I'll be selling 8 bottles of powdered milk after the show. Before I leave you, I do want to say, as I mentioned, my parents are weird. They, as you guys can tell, you know, they decided to get llamas to get rich quick in Canada because they came to central Alberta, whatever. They're like, oh, yeah, my dad tells me all the time, he's like, you know, he says, we came to Canada and we had a choice between Australia and New Zealand. And anytime I ask him, he says, oh, no, we came because Canada has such nice mountains. I don't know if you guys ever seen Lord of the Rings or any movie or ever seen any pamphlet in Australia, but they also have mountains, okay, guys? I don't know why that was the selling feature you sold me on, because he's like, every time I get out of the airport, they're like, welcome to Calgary. The weather is here. The weather here is great. 3 weeks a year. I was like, great, that would be awesome for my circulation. Yeah, so, but then he tells me, gotta move to Canada, and I didn't really have a choice, so I pack up, grab all my stuff, all my teddy bears, and head to Canada, and I find out, he tells me, oh, by the way, I don't want you to get disappointed, so I'm not allowing you to watch Lord of the Rings anymore. I go, Dad, why? Is it because of that crack-smoking wizard in those movies? He goes, no, there's just a really unrealistic amount of walking in those movies, and I don't want you to get your hopes up, you know what I mean? Which made me realize when I watched those, you could have just ordered The Ring on Amazon, and then if you didn't like it, you could have just ordered, sent it back, and would have saved like 6 hours of my life watching that movie. But yeah, that's what I really, I love my parents, but I realized I wanted to get rich quick. They decided to get llamas in Canada, and to protect the stupid sheep, right? And sheep are really stupid. So basically, one day, me and my buddy were rolling up to the bar, and we hear these deep, ominous, and rather aggressive sounds, and we're like, and I don't want to shock any of you guys, but whenever me and my girlfriend, or whenever me and the girl get hot and heavy, she's always like, talk dirty to me, and I'm like, and like, I don't know if it's what it is, but I think we can all agree that llamas have 4 legs and are kind of shaky on 2. So we'd be off to a bad start, you know what I mean? And me and my girlfriend, we wanted to spice things up recently, and she was like, we should try making love in the shower, you know what I mean? And it was all right, but guys, I gotta be honest with you, it's a little hard to get a llama in the shower to begin with. You know what I mean? But I did it. I did it. But anyways, guys, I gotta get out of here. If you want to see more of my comedy, I'm on Pornhub. /LamaLover69 _
Yeah, I want to see more of your shit. Thank you.